In this installment, we're going to be going over our third installment of our tier rankings. We're talking about the top wide receivers that we got right now in the first 10 rounds. Let's get into it. Welcome back to the channel. It's your boy Chef D, and I'm here to bring you the winning ingredients for our wide receiver tier rankings we got right now before training camp. Okay, these are the guys we're going to key in on each and every tier. There's going to be gems and question marks at each and every tier. But before I deep dive into this very intriguing rankings list, guys, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe to the channel. Make sure you follow me on Instagram and Twitter at MetsNetShetsD. Don't forget about that TikTok at Chef_D91. And don't forget about the Patreon. If you want MLB bets, sign up right now. That link is down below. If you want to get ready for best ball and fantasy football, look at that link down below, sign it, and click it right now as well. And guys, if you are a viewer and not currently a subscriber, go ahead and click that subscribe button right now, okay? Go ahead and support. Let's boost these numbers. It's not only important that we hit that subscribe button, it's also super important that you hit that like button so we can reach out to a further audience and boost up these numbers. So thank you guys. Let's get into these rankings. Our first tier we're going to be talking about for our wide receiver rankings, we're going to be speaking about the league winners. All right, as you can see, we got a nice core here. All right, wide receivers have become more and more important in fantasy football now. All right, we've realized that they are more consistent and they do not totally dismantle your team. There's less wide receiver injuries than you get a running back. The running back injuries, it happens on a frequent. Talking about Javonte Williams, talking about DeAndre Swift, all these guys that have high draft capital and then totally dismantle your teams. They can happen to anyone, but going by numbers, wide receivers are more consistent and more productive. All right, but if you do get that, you hit that one right running back, it can separate you from others. All right, so wide receiver number one, we're going to talk about no particular order. All these guys are league winners, all right, in my eyes. All of them have the opportunity to set you apart from your league mates, and you need to grab one of these guys, all right? First one is, yes, Jalen Waddle. A lot of people are going to be saying that he was inconsistent, but he was very efficient in his numbers, all right? He had a large ADOT as well. And the key component here with Jalen Waddle is he needs his quarterback. If we're looking at Jalen Waddle splits from 2022, his splits with and without Tua Tagovailoa are very drastic, okay? With Tua Tagovailoa out, it was 6 games, and in PPR leagues, he only had 10.62 points per game. He only had 3.83 receptions, and he only had about 5.67 targets with around 64 yards, okay? With Tua Tagovailoa in being that number one quarterback, he was facilitating the ball to Tyreek and Waddle. Waddle jumps up to 18.14 points per game, around 4.7 receptions a game, around 0.73 TDs a game, and jumps all the way around 7.45 targets and around 88 yards a game, okay? So we're talking about a guy that has elite route running ability, quickness out of this world, and Tua Tagovailoa is his quarterback from college. They have this great connection. That's why you see the big discrepancy from Tua Tagovailoa out and Tua Tagovailoa in. And also, it's a backup quarterback. You're relying on Thompson and Bridgewater. All these guys are not top tier talents like Tua Tagovailoa is, as long as Tua can stay healthy. And that's an if. But if he can stay healthy, he did bulk up in the offseason, we can have a huge, efficient year to go alongside Tyreek Hill in this offense of Miami. Very dynamic duo that they got going right now, okay? Next guy right here, his teammate, Tyreek Hill. Okay, we already know this is the target getter. It doesn't matter if Tua Tagovailoa is in or he is out. Tyreek Hill is the number one option in this offense. He is seeing some charges right now with that incident that he had at the boat. So we'll see what happens. Okay, we don't know. They are deciding to press charges. So for right now, just still go and tack Tyreek Hill. This is an elite upside wide receiver here, and he might get a slap on the wrist. We'll see what happens. We don't know. We can't predict that. But right now, we got to trust the numbers, trust the upside, and trust the fact that he's just a clear-cut number one with and without Tua on this team, all right? The next guy we're talking about is Davante Adams. Yes, year after year, Mr. Boring, Mr. Inconsistent. It doesn't matter if it's Aaron Rodgers. It doesn't matter if it's Derek Carr. It doesn't even matter if it's Jarrett Stidham. He's still putting up numbers. That's because he is an elite route runner, all right? When you're in the league and you're an elite route runner, you can last a lifetime. Roddy White, all these guys that are top-tier route runners, Amari Cooper, Brandon Cooks, all these guys, okay? They're going to be bankable 1,000-yard wide receivers and have upside to get double-digit touchdowns, all right? So Davante Adams, yet again, another year of consistency, all right? You bake them in as a league winner, go and get them. Yes, it's the Raiders, I understand. They don't even know who the quarterback is. Jimmy Garoppolo is going to be the quarterback, all right? So Jimmy G will get the ball to his number one wide receiver because Davante Adams, you know what? He gets open. That's all that matters, all right? So we love Davante Adams this year yet again. Amon-Ra St. Brown is next in our league winners group, and he bursted on the scene, and he emerged as the number one wide receiver in the offense of the Detroit Lions. They're really putting everything together now under Jared Goff, all right? Can he get them to the Super Bowl? That's going to be the big question mark, all right? It's a big hump right there. But as long as Jared Goff has his number one wide receiver, we already seen the connection between him and Cooper Kupp. He's doing that with Amon-Ra St. Brown, who can work wonders in that slot position, get open, and put up major numbers in this Detroit Lions offense. You get the benefit that the fact that they're going to be without Jameson Williams the first 6 games, and it's going to be a big year for Amon-Ra St. Brown. That first beginning, the first 6-7 games, he's going to be without Jameson Williams. Williams is going to be coming back, still has to get it back up to speed. Amon-Ra is going to be the clear-cut number one option in this offense, all right? Next guy we got is Chris Olave. Olave is a guy who emerged onto the scene from Ohio State with all those juicy wide receivers between him, Garrett Wilson, Jackson Smith-Njigba, Chris Olave. That Ohio State core is insane, and Olave left people speechless last year. He was someone to go get in that round 7 to 8 range. He was going super late in drafts last year. Chris Olave emerged as the number one wide receiver. If you think you're banking on Michael Thomas, it's over. Stop trying. Year after year, you get disappointed. Year after year, he's injured. Year after year, this is an issue over and over again. This is the number one option for the New Orleans Saints. Derek Carr is now with the Saints as well. He gets a QB upgrade as well for this team. We saw what Carr did with Adams, and now you're about to see what Carr can do with Chris Olave. These type of quarterbacks, they have no problem getting the ball to their number one wide receiver, all right? Chris Olave is in for another huge year, all right? CeeDee Lamb is our next league winner, and this man finally emerged, okay, in year 3. We'll talk about another year 3 wide receiver a little bit later, but that's the key year for breakout seasons, and CeeDee Lamb finally did it. If you're looking at the numbers, 2000, and it's a rookie year, solid 111 targets, under 1,000 yards, 74 receptions, 5 TDs. In his second season, over 1,000 yards, 79 receptions, 6 TDs, but he still was number 18 wide receiver. We wanted a top 10 performance because that's what CeeDee Lamb has in his back pocket. He has that upside, and he did it finally in year number 3 with over 1,300 yards, 107 receptions, and 9 TDs. He finished top 10 wide receiver, and he's going to be able to do that again. Amari Cooper's gone. He emerged, and this now is the alpha of the Dallas Cowboys. So league winner upside here for CeeDee Lamb. Love him. All right, Cooper Kupp is next. And the only question mark with him is health. All right, we saw Cooper Kupp in the beginning of last year. He was going on pace to beat his numbers in his season prior. All right, Cooper Kupp was an absolute smash play last year, but he got injured. That's the only question mark with Cooper Kupp. Matt Stafford's back and healthy. He's going to be able to get the ball to Cooper Kupp as well. He just has to play the majority of his games, and he's going to be a league winner. All right. Next, Jamar Chase. Jamar Chase, come on. This is a 99 percentile wide receiver, man. This is a generational talent. Jamar Chase is an elite wide receiver. I don't have to say much about him. The only benefit here, Joe Burrow's in a contract year. So Joe Burrow is going to be putting up some numbers and motivated to put up some numbers so he can go back and buy all the Davidoffs he wants so he can smoke, sit back, kick, and relax. So Jamar Chase is in a perfect position now with Joe Burrow here. I think he's going to be this year's #1 wide receiver overall, okay? Last year, I was heavy on Justin Jefferson. You can go back to the videos. I preached. I prayed. I wasn't able to get him. But I told you guys Justin Jefferson was going to be the #1 wide receiver, adopting that LA Rams Los Angeles Rams offense, where he was the slot wide receiver, similar to what Cooper Kupp did, and he was clear-cut #1. And then we're on to Justin Jefferson. He was #1 last year. He's going to be right around the 1, 2, 3 range yet again, okay? So these two guys, Jamar Chase, Justin Jefferson, these are going to be your elite 1-2 punch up there guys, okay? They're going to be going neck and neck each and every week. So those are your league winners there. And then last but not least, we got Garrett Wilson. Look at his numbers last year, okay? He played all 17 games. He had 83 receptions, over 1,000 yards, and 4 TDs. He finished top 30. But that was with horrible quarterback play, with the most inefficient quarterbacks. Mike White, Zach Wilson, Joe Flacco. Horrible quarterback play. He still finished over 80 receptions, over 1,000 yards. That's because this man is silky smooth, great route running ability. He's just like way above his age, the way that he plays the NFL game right now, the way he's running routes. And now you get an all-time great Hall of Famer in Aaron Rodgers, who loves to target his #1 wide receiver. What did Aaron Rodgers do to Christian Watson? He made him a top-tier talent, okay? Christian Watson wasn't even being drafted. I took him last in my league at like round 19, okay, just to throw him up there because I know he has some upside because he has speed. He turned Christian Watson into a top 3 round pick. That's what Aaron Rodgers did to Christian Watson. He had Devontae Adams. You already know what he did with him. And now he gets Garrett Wilson, another elite wide receiver here. All these guys you need to be aiming for in your drafts. Let's move on to the breakout candidates. The next tier we got are the breakout candidates. The first one we're going to be talking about is Devonta Smith. I love what he did last season, and they're just making things easier and easier for Jalen Hurts. That's why you saw this big season from the wide receiver position of A.J. Brown and Devonta Smith in that offense for the Eagles, running a very nice RPO offense. So it makes things simpler for Jalen Hurts. He either has to hand it off to Miles Sanders or he throws it to his first option at wide receiver, and it's either Devonta Smith or it's A.J. Brown, okay? He just has to make a quick read on that linebacker. If he's in, then the passing lane is open. If the linebacker is back and out, then you go with that running back up the middle. All right, so very, very nice offense that they're running for the Philadelphia Eagles, and it really just funnels all the targets, okay? And it's a clear-cut dominant 1-2 punch here with Devonta Smith and AJ Brown. They do not have a number 3 wide receiver. Quez Watkins is not that guy. And then you have Dallas Goedert. He comes in, he gets a few, but the majority here is going to be between these two guys in Smith and AJ Brown. And Smith competed neck and neck with targets and production alongside of AJ Brown. We do know about AJ Brown's history of injuries, and that could spark up, and that can really elevate Devonta Smith to the next level. All right, but what we're seeing right now, I don't like the price of AJ Brown. You're going to have to play a very high price, going 5th, 6th, 7th overall in drafts, where you could have got him in the 4th round last year. You take the discounted guy that puts up just as much numbers, all right? And that's Devonta Smith. He's going around that 2-3 round range. Take the discount. He has just enough upside as AJ Brown, okay? Next guy we're going to be talking about is Calvin Ridley, coming back from his suspension, a year and a half off. And he is still a number 1 wide receiver, okay? I understand. There's some skepticism, but he is still a top-tier guy that you're going to be going towards. That's why his draft capital is around that round 3 range. We saw what he did with the Atlanta Falcons. He's getting an upgrade at quarterback from Matt Ryan to Trevor Lawrence. There's already been tons of reports that he's looking like his old self. He's still that crisp route runner. And if you want a little bit of, a wake-up call, just watch some of the practices that you're seeing right now, and then pay attention to the preseason, okay? You'll get a little bit of a glimpse of if Calvin Ridley is back or not to make your decision. But I'm going to have faith in the guy that I know has the capabilities, and he's getting a top-tier, talented quarterback in Trevor Lawrence throwing him the football. All right, the next guy is Keenan Allen. The only thing that can stop him is injuries, all right? He had a fantastic year last year in the games he was healthy, okay? So as long as he's playing healthy, he's in every game, he's going to receive 10 targets a game. He's going to get you around 70, 80 yards a game. The question mark is he going to fall in the end zone? All right. That's the only question mark there. You do not doubt Keenan Allen. He's one of these guys, like I talk about, these elite route runners can last years after years. Keenan Allen is that type of guy. He doesn't win by athleticism and speed. He wins by running crisp routes. Okay. Next guy we have is DJ Moore. DJ Moore is leaving. All right. He got traded to the Chicago Bears. He is now the number 1 wide receiver for Justin Fields. And the reason why I say that he's finally going to break out is to change the scenery, and it's a quarterback upgrade. We're looking at DJ Moore's past, all right? He had Sam Darnold. He had Jacob Eason. He had Teddy Bridgewater. He had P.J. Walker. He had Kyle Allen. And he had the decline of Cam Newton. That year of 2018, that was the decline of Cam Newton, all right? That wasn't the Super Bowl Cam Newton. Super Bowl Cam Newton was out of this world, okay? He had to decline. 2018 was a very down year for Cam, and DJ Moore was in his rookie season. And then after that, it just went way down in quarterback production. Now he's getting the guy that can get the ball to him, and DJ Moore can get open. That's what Justin Fields needs. DJ Moore is a perfect fit for the Chicago Bears, and it moves down Darnell Mooney to be that deep number 2 guy. So love DJ Moore this year. Next guy is Brandon Ayuk, the true number 1 of the San Francisco 49ers, all right? And the reason why I say that is because he can get open. Look at his efficiency. His target separation was top 3 in the league with 2.31 yards, okay? Once he's catching that ball, he has a ton of space, and he's a guy just like Debo that's very, very effective yards after the catch. So he finally emerged last season as that guy, and you saw the decline of Deebo Samuel, mainly Deebo Samuel, because he's not a very efficient route runner, guys. He's not. He's a nice dual threat. that can run the football as well. You can use them in sweeps and slants and run them up the middle and get creative. But the problem with that is Christian McCaffrey's there. He's still going to get some touches, but you got CMC that's going to be hogging all of those touches. Brandon Ayuk emerged as the clear-cut number one wide receiver, like I believed him to be. And you're going to see that again this year. He's going to take it to the next level. Brock Purdy should be back in weeks 1, 2, or 3, and he's going to ascend from there. So that target separation is going to be very key for Brandon Ayuk. He has that explosiveness, and he's very, very good yards after the catch, all right? Next guy will be Jerry Jeudy. Jerry Jeudy had a solid year, finishing the 2022 season off very strongly and that back end, all right? Despite the poor play of Russell Wilson, all right? Jerry Jeudy still was that guy that was performing each and every week, getting open, creating opportunity, and you get an upgrade here in coaching. Sean Payton knows how to utilize talented quarterbacks. Obviously, Drew Brees, now he's getting someone who's a very, very good quarterback, probably going to be a Hall of Famer in Russell Wilson. But Jerry Jeudy here and Sean Payton offense, he's going to be that number one wide receiver. I expect a bounce back year from Russell Wilson. Okay, so that was an anomaly, what you saw of Russell Wilson. That's what I want to believe. You're looking at all his years of stats, all the supreme performances, all the runs to the Super Bowl, and you're saying one year is not like the other, and that was last year, okay? Like I said before, I'm going to say it again. Nathaniel Hackett is he was a horrible coach, okay? And that offense he was running, that was built for Aaron Rodgers. It was not built for Russell Wilson, okay? They were banking on Aaron Rodgers to come to Denver, and they did not, and Russell Wilson was the backup plan, okay? They were finding scraps. Oh my God. And by that time, it was too late. You're running this offense, Russell Wilson, but that was not built for him, okay? This whole offseason, they're going to make things better for Russell Wilson. You're going to see a bounce back year from him, all right? Michael Pittman is the next breakout candidate. He's just very consistent route runner. He can win down the field as well, and he's going to have to be the blanket for Anthony Richardson, that big body wide receiver that he can rely on, that's going to get open for him, and Michael Pittman is the perfect guy, all right? Next is Marquise Brown. The reason why I have Marquise Brown here, you might say, Marquise Brown, but the opportunity is there because they have no other option. Yes, it's going to be poor quarterback play, but this team is going to be down. And when I mean down, they're going to be really, really down. And Marquise Brown is the only guy that's going to be cleaning up all these back end points. Okay, in that third and fourth quarter, Marquise Brown is going to be coming in. Oh, where do you get this from? A touchdown, 50-yard touchdown. Where'd that come from? Oh, yeah, they were down. The team didn't really care. The opposite team didn't really care because the game's over. He's going to be getting all that cleaned up points, all right? Marquise Brown's going to see a ton of targets, just like we've seen in prior years with Larry Fitzgerald on a bad Arizona Cardinals team. He's just the number one, but he's going to get all the work. Marquise Brown, only problem is the drops. That's the only problem with Marquise Brown. But he has that speed and upside to take any catch to the house, and they're going to be in scenarios. The Arizona Cardinals are going to be a lot of scenarios where they're going to be down big points, and they just need anything, all right? Marquise Brown has that upside to get you there, okay? You might not agree with that, but he's worth taking a shot out because where he's going, a lot of people are just skipping over his name, okay? And then Drake London coming into his second season. We're getting a quarterback upgrade from horrible Matt Ryan that can't move at all to Desmond Ridder that can at least survive, all right? At least survive long enough to get Drake London the football down the field, all right? He emerged as the number one target getter last year. He's going to be the number one target getter this year. Desmond Ridder is going to be another year under the offense, getting the ball to his top-tier talented wide receiver in Drake London, who can catch in any, it doesn't matter, contesting catch, it doesn't matter, catching traffic. Drake London is coming down with the football, okay? So I love him this year as a breakout candidate where he's going around 5. And then last but not least, you got T. Higgins, all right? T. Higgins is just consistent each and every year. 2021, he finished top 12. In 2022, a little bit of a decrease technically, but the fantasy points per game went down around 2 points. But here, like I said, Joe Burrow is in a contract season. He's going to be putting up numbers not only for Jamar Chase, who defense is going to focus on, but it's going to funnel down and trickle down to T. Higgins, who's going to have another supreme year, another 70 catches, another over 1,000-yard year, and we just need them 10 touchdowns. If he has 10 touchdowns, then we're talking about a top 15 to 10 wide receiver if he gets double-digit touchdowns, okay? All right, so let's move on to our next tier in solid floors with elite upside. In our next tier, we got solid floors with elite upside. The perfect guy to start it off with is Amari Cooper. Look at his numbers right now. Look at his numbers. We're talking about 1,000 yards, 1,000 yards, 1,000 yards, 1,000 yards. This is the guy that you want. Boring, but it's going to get you there, okay? Guaranteed going to get you there. Amari Cooper, Brandon Cooks, Terry McLaurin, all this guys right here. Very good floor. The only thing with the upside is TD. So Amari Cooper coming in here, we thought his season, his career was over in 2021, all right? He had a decline. They got rid of him, sent him over to the Cleveland Browns. Yes, the hell. Cleveland Browns, oh my God, no. But what happened was with Jacoby Brissett, Amari Cooper took his game to a whole nother level. He took it to where we're accustomed to, where we're used to. Amari Cooper came through with 78 receptions, over 1,000 yards, and 9 TDs. All right, Amari Cooper was just his same old self. It's because he's an elite route runner, okay? Elite route runner. That's what happens, all right? You get a nice solid floor with these 1,000-yard guys. We're going back to the well to Amari Cooper this season. He's getting help with Elijah Moore. DPJ is another season under his belt. He's looking better and better as a deep target. Deshaun Watson coming into this offense, another, a couple more months under the belt. He's going to be ready now, finally, to go forth in this season. So Amari Cooper is going to be a smash play this year. A.J. Brown was a big breakout last season. Coming over from the Titans to Philadelphia, you saw the upside. It's because A.J. Brown wins one-on-one matchups. That's what Jalen Hurts needed. He needed someone that can get open frequently, and we already know his numbers. So as long as A.J. Brown is healthy, then he has that type of upside, all right? That's the only thing holding back A.J. Brown is injuries. He's going to be a solid guy we're going to be looking for this season as well. Stephon Diggs, I moved him down to solid floor with elite upside because, yes, of course, he has elite upside. We're getting a lot of question marks now. Stephon Diggs is acting like a diva, okay? That's what the factor is. Not, there's no numbers. He right now, this offseason, he's pretty heated about that loss in the playoffs, man. And there's reports that he hasn't even speaking to Josh Allen until recently. We're talking about months after that game. He expects this team to be in the Super Bowl, but they can't get there. All right. And I don't know what they're doing right now. The Bills, I see a decline in this team. That's why I like Miami to win this division. But Diggs as a player is obviously someone that you want to go for. He's very, very consistent. He's going to give you over 1,000 yards. He's going to get you near double-digit touchdowns. But if we're talking about connection and chemistry, if things are not going well between Josh Allen and Diggs, we could see a slight decline in numbers, all right? Either them two or the team in total, because they needed to address the offensive line a little bit more. They really needed a number 2 wide receiver, but they really didn't do that. So we're going to see what happens with Dalton Kincaid. There's a lot of question marks here. Obviously, you just want to go what you comfortable with. Stephon Diggs, yeah, fine. I understand that. But I do have a little bit of question marks this year, all right? And maybe my prediction is right that he sees a decline. We'll see, all right? Next guy is Mike Williams. Now, Mike Williams. Piss me off, Mike Williams. Mike Williams deserves the solid floor with elite upside because if he can stay healthy, man, he has so much upside. He's a big body wide receiver, but he gets himself in situations where there's a knee problem here, there's an injury there, there's a nick or bruise here. That's the only thing stopping him is being healthy, okay? He sees a very sizable target share in that offense with the Los Angeles Chargers. Obviously, That's all that Justin Herbert is looking for, these big body wide receivers. Either it's Keenan Allen or it's Mike Williams, or now it's even Quentin Johnston. So you're getting competition now in the wide receiver room for him. Mike Williams, like I said, has a ton of upside. Can he stay healthy? Please, can he stay healthy for him to take it to that next level, right? But that's going to be very hard to trust because his whole entire track record is built upon that injury notion for him, all right? Brandon Cooks, he's in the ilk of Amari Cooper. 1,000 yards year after year, year after year. Doesn't matter if he's on the Rams. Doesn't matter if he's on the Cowboys. Doesn't matter if he's on the Texans. He's going to be that number 2 wide receiver that's going to get you 1,000 yards. His teammate is CeeDee Lamb, so he's going to be getting, he's going to be seeing lesser talent going up against him defensively. And Brandon Cooks should easily, because he's an elite route runner, be receiving the ball at a very, very high clip, especially since the blanket coveted Dalton Schultz tight end, who was the target getter, is gone. So who's going to be getting all those targets? I mean, you could rely upon a rookie, but why not just rely upon a very solid veteran in Brandon Cooks? All right. Next guy we're going to be speaking about is Terry McLaurin. Scary Terry here. We're getting a quarterback upgrade. Yes, I said a quarterback upgrade here in Sam Howell. We're putting the Commanders in full confidence. Ron Rivera in full confidence of their quarterback of Sam Howell. He's going to have the opportunity to get the ball to his very, very talented wide receiver core. If it's Terry McLaurin, if it's Jahan Dotson, or if it's Curtis Samuel, all these guys can win down the field. All these guys can win in traffic. They can make moves and take it to the house, okay? Terry McLaurin is that guy that's going to give you 1,000 yards every single year, around 5, 6, 7 touchdowns a season. Very consistent. The elite upside gets unlocked if he gets in the end zone more, all right? And then last but not least, we got DK Metcalf. Another top 25 year that we got from him. If you're looking at his numbers, 90 receptions, over 1,000 yards, 6 TDs, and that was from Geno Smith, okay? We thought we were going to see a decline, but his numbers went up. We saw more targets, we saw more receptions, and we saw an increase in receiving yards from his previous season of 2021. The only question mark here is the touchdowns. That's what fluctuates from him being a top 10 wide receiver or being a top 20, 25 wide receiver, is him getting in the end zone, okay? So, love DK Metcalf. Yet again, he's going to be that number 1 wide receiver in that offense. Geno Smith has so much talent around him, and he knows the guy that he should lean upon in those red zone situations. So those are going to be our solid floor with elite upside guys. Next is, can they do it again? That tier is going to be very interesting. On to our next tier, and can they do it again? All right, and we have a very good candidate here in Deebo Samuel. Deebo Samuel, if you're looking at his numbers of his entire career, look at these numbers. 1 year is not like another. One is an anomaly. We go from average 81 targets, 57 receptions, around 800 yards, 3 touchdowns. We go from 2020, injured season, understandable. And then we go to a year where he takes yards after a catch to a whole entire another level here. 120 targets, 77 receptions, 1,405 yards, and 6 touchdowns. He was top 3 overall wide receiver. It was a huge breakout season for Deebo Samuel. Some of those factors was Brandon Ayuk being in the doghouse, all right? So all they really had was Deebo Samuel. There was injuries at that running back position for the San Francisco 49ers, so they relied upon him in the rushing game. And then in the receiving game, with the amount of targets he was getting, increased the opportunities of him with yards after the catch. He had over 700 yards after the catch in 2021. That are some receivers' whole entire season. He did that after the catch, okay? Deebo Samuel that season was absolutely insane. And then we go back to 2022, where this could just be his average. Is this the real Deebo Samuel here? He's not really a good route runner. He's great after the catch. He's better when you get the ball in his hands and short yardage and let him create. But you do have to factor in this is a very, very crowded offense here in the San Francisco 49ers. So one year is not like the other. We're looking at 2022, 2020, 2019. This is what Brandon Ayuk is, around 50, 60, maybe 70 catches, around 500 to 700 yards, and a handful of touchdowns, where most of those touchdowns is coming from him rushing the football instead of receiving the football. Deebo Samuel was a big question mark. I don't know about these guys that are touting him in drafts as a top 15 wide receiver. I would put him down below in that 20, 25 range, maybe even lower. Because Deebo Samuel, that was a huge anomaly of the season, guys. All right. And we're talking about Christian McCaffrey in the offense now, who's going to be taking receptions and rushes, especially in the red zone area. That's a big question mark for me this season. I do not like Deebo Samuel, okay? Next, guys, we got Mike Evans and Chris Godwin. I'm going to sandwich both of these guys together, okay? They go hand in hand, all right? We go from Tom Brady peppering them with targets, all right? Tom Brady, just an insane amount of throwing attempts that we have from Tom Brady with short A dots. It really didn't matter. We saw big numbers from Mike Evans and Chris Godwin last season. So yet again, we get a downgrade from Tom Brady to Baker Mayfield. We did see some bright spots with Baker Mayfield as the quarterback with the LA Rams. So that was a good thing to see. So there is hope. So if we're just relying upon them as being very solid veterans here, and Mike Evans and Chris Godwin, they should have another similar year as they're usually having, right? But we do have Baker Mayfield as a question mark here. Can he be accurate enough to get his top tier talents and Mike Evans and Chris Godwin the football? At the price that they're going at, they're very, very affordable. I love the value that you're getting on both. That's why we do like them. But I did have to bring up the question of the downgrade to quarterback. Next guy we have is Christian Kirk, wide receiver for the Jacksonville Jaguars. The reason why I put him down here at can they do it again? He had an awesome season last year, 84 receptions, 133 targets, and over 1,100 yards receiving as well to go along with 8 touchdowns. Absolutely great season. He was the number one last year. Now we're getting alpha coming into the mix here in Calvin Ridley. We expect him to drop the numbers at least a little bit, okay? So now we have Calvin Ridley in the mold. He's going to be taking up a 20% target share at minimum, all right? So you should see a decrease here in Christian Kirk. It is kind of baked in his ADP here, but I do not expect him to have another 84, 1,000. I do expect him to get around 1,000, but maybe a little bit less of receptions, maybe around more the 65 to 70 range from him. He just needs to be more efficient with the touchdowns for him to equal out in where he's going right now. But someone that's very effective in the slot. Obviously, he's going to have a good teammate alongside of him in Calvin Ridley, and things should be opening up for this offense in total for the Jacksonville Jaguars. And you got Trevor Lawrence ascending, so there is positives for Christian Kirk. I do like him. He is not one of the guys that's in this row that I'm very, very down on. I'm not. Christian Kirk is solid, okay? Godwin is solid. Mike Evans is solid. Deebo Samuel, don't know about that. I don't like that one. All right. And then last but not least, we got Christian Watson. All right. Christian Watson here came on strong last year to end the season. From week 10 on, he had at least, 5 top 20, 5 top 10 performances. He had a 32.7 against Dallas, a 21.1 against Tennessee, a 21 against Philadelphia, 24 against Chicago. That was 4 weeks in a row of elite upside there. And then finished it off against Detroit with 16.6. So Christian Watson is someone that we do like. He has capabilities, yard after the catch. He is a very, very fast. And when you get this man the football, then he has the big possibility of taking it all the way to the house. The question mark here is we go from Aaron Rodgers to Jordan Love. We get a downgrade at quarterback, but he emerged on the scene as the number one target getter here. And getting a full season of Christian Watson, are they going to be orchestrating the offense around him? Okay, so that's going to be the question mark. Okay, so are we going to get some easier ways of getting the football to Christian Watson instead of just beaming it all the way down the field? All right, you don't want to rely upon that for Jordan Love. You want Jordan Love to have some easy options, quick routes. And Christian Watson is a guy that can get open because of his speed. All right, youth and speed combination, very, very deadly. So I do like him this season, but it is a question mark where we go from Aaron Rodgers to Jordan Love. All right, let's go on to our last two tiers in late upside and wait and see. With our final two tiers, we're going to start off with the late upside guys. These are guys going in that round 7 to 8 to 9 range. All these guys are in that mix right here. First one we're going to be talking about is Rashad Bateman. Okay, Rashad Bateman for the Baltimore Ravens here. New revamped offense here. A new wide receiving core for Lamar Jackson. And Bateman could be that number one this season, all right? But the question mark here with Bateman is, first of all, is going to be that Liz Fink injury. If you're looking at his history, that's his problem, all right? We had a groin injury twice, undisclosed injury, a foot injury, and then a Liz Frank injury. So mainly on his leg and foot area, mainly on his foot pretty much. It's just been that one foot in particular and the groin that's been giving him problems. I get it. He had that cortisone shot put in, but that's more of healthy progress going on with his scenario, with his situation, with his foot. He had a screw put in. The screw was taken out, and then once you take the screw out, then there's a gap. So that's where the cortisone comes in for comfort. You fill that gap in with the cortisone shot, and things should be feeling healthier after that. All right. So they're going to give him some time, and we should be seeing him in training camp. So just pay attention to training camp. If everything's fine there, then we got a full-fledged Rashad Bateman. Love his late upside this season. Okay. And plus also, he's a year 3 breakout. If we're looking at the chart right here, year 3. All right. This is the year. Look for year 3 wide receivers, okay? And they're either going to be top 5, 36.8% of the time, or they're going to be top 12, 31.6% of the time. This is the time that Rashad Bateman can emerge as an elite top tier talent. So love him this year. Okay, next guy we're going to be talking about is Treylon Burks. Treylon Burks is now the number 1 wide receiver over there in Tennessee, and we're getting great reports right now. Teron Davenport reports that Burks is playing at a different speed in the offseason. He looks noticeably leaner in his build, and he's really coming into his self this season in the OTAs, and you're going to see it in training camp as well. They're talking about force feeding the football to him. Either he's open or in traffic scenarios. With the obviously Tannehill's in a desperate situation. He's going to have to put up numbers so he can keep Will Levis off his back. So he's going to be force feeding the most talented guy on the field. It's either between Treylon Burks or Chig Nkonkwo. Okay, so love where Burks is going out really late in the back end in 8-9 rounds right there. Burks is sitting there waiting for you to take him. Love him as well. All right, next guy we got is Elijah Moore. Okay, we're going to keep this short and sweet. We get it. We understand this man is used to winning, used to being an alpha, even in Ole Miss. He was alongside talented wide receivers in DK Metcalf and A.J. Brown. Elijah Moore is that different dude, all right? Really is. Unfortunate that the situation with the Jets happened where it was just poor quarterback play. But look at this number. That's all you need. He was getting open, okay? Look at that, 2.4 target separation. He was open, but we couldn't get him the football. Top 12 in the league, all right, out of all wide receivers. He was open, but we could not get him the football because we had inefficient quarterback play. Zach Wilson, Joe Flacco, Mike White, they could not find this man, all right? Impossible. And he was getting mad each and every game. It built up, it boiled over, but we get a new life here with the Cleveland Browns, with a QB upgrade in Deshaun Watson. Elijah Moore has huge late round upside. All right. Next guy we got is Deontay Johnson. This man is super consistent. You could have put him up there with the solid floor with elite upside guys, but where he's going right now, I'm putting him in late upside because he's down at the bottom where it's him and it's either George Pickens. But what Deontay Johnson is Deontay Johnson is an alpha. He's a target getter. All right. He's going to see 9 to 10 targets each and every game. The only problem with him last season was he had 0 touchdowns. All right. What do you think that's going to happen? Okay. What do you think that's going to happen? He's going to progress. Let's say it correctly, fantasy football community. There's no positive regression. What the heck is that? I should go on a rant right now, but that's too what is it? It's a double negative. What are you talking about? Positive regression. What? It's called progression. Put the word together. Progression. All right. Progression of Deontay Johnson getting more touchdowns this season. All right. So love him where he's going right now. Take him over George Pickens, hands down. All right. And then last but not least, in late upside, we have Jahan Dotson. This man came on the scene similar to the Elk where we saw A.J. Brown and Devonta Smith. Jahan Dotson was right there with Terry McLaurin, being very productive in the games he was healthy in, all right? That's the question mark with Jahan Dotson, if he can stay healthy. But with his size, where he's going right now at wide receiver 40, he finished at wide receiver 38 last season. He's getting a QB upgrade now this year. He's very versatile. He can play in the slot and outside, despite the fact that he has a small frame. He's a very, very crisp route runner. He is looking sharp. What we saw from him last season, if we're looking at the numbers, he came out cooking, all right? 18 fantasy points, 17.9. He was a little bit hampered in the middle, but finished strong in the season where he reeled off 16.4, 20.5, 19.6 as well. Okay, so I'm liking Jahan Dotson where he's going right now. That wide receiver core with the Commanders are very, very dangerous, okay? And you get the upgrade in offensive coordinator here with Eric Bieniemy, all right? A motivated Eric Bieniemy who wants a coaching job, and he's going to put all his effort and time into creating an offense for Sam Howell and his wide receivers to take it to the next level. So I love Jahan Dotson there as well, where he's going late in drafts. And then last but not least, we'll wait and see. We have DeAndre Hopkins. Just wait and see where he's going before you really go full-fledged on him. You're going to have enough time probably for redraft, but best ball, take your time. Wait and see where DeAndre Hopkins is going to land. He wants to go to a contender. We're going to see where he lands, but hopefully it's somewhere. Hopefully it's the Kansas City Chiefs. That would be awesome for DeAndre Hopkins. But thank you guys for tuning in. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe to the channel. Yet again, if you're a viewer and not a subscriber, go ahead and click that subscribe button right now. Guys, also make sure you like this video so we can spread it out to a broad audience, and leave a comment as well. Anything, any thought possible, leave it down below. We can have a great discussion. I appreciate you guys in the previous best ball video, throwing in some comments. Thank you guys. Let's continue to do so. All right. Peace out.